All right, I'm gonna step outside, try and make this video real quick, just because I don't want to bother anybody inside. But what I did is I got my other phone. I got the PDF pulled up on that phone, like I said, and we're going to go through the supremacy clause, Article 4, Section 2, or no, Article 4, Clause 2, Section 1 of the Constitution. We're going to go over our universal human right to privacy, and we're going to go over it's really pretty out. I'm going to come sit over here by the tomato plants. No tomatoes this year. We had 3 itty-bitty ones because all the other ones got eaten by deer, so we had to pull the little guys. But oh, look at that, there's actually, oh wait, real quick, look at, oh, there's one. Oh, it's starting to grow. Oh, you go, baby, yeah. Survived the onslaught every night. There's like at least 4 deer that come into our yard looking for food, so they tore up the bell pepper plants. We didn't get any bell peppers except for I think maybe 2. Looks like I think there's one growing over there. It's a little tiny guy too. I kind of quit watering there this last couple weeks because I've been so busy with all this legal stuff. But anyways, let's get back to it, right? It's beautiful out right now. So, but again, to follow up with the last couple of videos, I told you that I was going to prove to you that Idaho and Colorado both consider identity theft a felony. That's all I have to do is prove 1 felony, and then I get my attorney fees paid for by the opposing side. So it doesn't matter if it's $500 an hour, right? Like for 1 hour, or it's $500 an hour for 2 years, right? 2 years is $2 million, just so you know, right? Roughly about anywhere from $1,800 to $2,200 an hour is what an attorney will charge you a year. So right in the middle, 2,000 times 500, that's $1 million a year, right? Like, that sucks. That sucks. Okay, so again, I try to avoid all this because I gave you ample time, right? Like, my issue's been since last year, September, October 2024, right? And my wife's has been since April, and ever since April, 4 separate instances, I've let you guys know what you guys did wrong, and I need it corrected immediately. And you guys have gone out of your way to not only not help us, but to completely deny us all of our basic rights. So this is why I'm letting you all know, because if it's happening to me, it's happening to you, right? Many of you do not understand the law nearly as well as what we do, or I do. You don't thankfully you guys didn't have to go through what I did in life, but that's for a different story. Right now we're gonna go through the PDF. I'm gonna keep it faced this way, so that way I can read through it, and I will omit any names that I may come across because I don't want to incriminate anyone yet. But I will just say officer or attorney or a manager, right? That's what I'll do, okay? So for this document, I will go through the list. Oh, and this is also the same printed out thing that they had available to them every single time that I went into the store, and they denied me every single time. So I tried to speak with multiple managers on day 1. I had to wait. So that was the first instance, right? Like, I tried to take care of it at the cashier. She denied me, and then multiple managers that day, and then HR that day, right? And then the next instance was a couple days later. Spoke with the attorney, explained everything, right, from this and from their policy, right? He agreed with me over a recorded phone call that we are in fact correct, but they're not going to give us any of their property, and they now consider this stuff their property. So that's not how the law works, right? The third instance, I went, before all this happened, I went and I spoke with Lewiston City attorneys and Lewiston Police Department. They told me to go back to the establishment and speak with management, so that's why I went back, and that's what happened for the third instance. I tried to, after speaking with both city attorney and Lewiston Police, a lower ranking officer and a supervising sergeant, they both told me to return back to the store. So because I was told to return by myself, right? Us and my family, right? Go back to where the crime was committed against you by yourself, right? We did. We listened, and we went back, and we had our rights denied to us by another manager, a female manager at the store that day. So, and then the next instance, again, tried to have some help this time. Between the third and the fourth instance, I spoke with a sergeant and a captain of the police, and I was basically told to, again, return, and I returned. I tried to get help with the city attorney's office for the lack of help, and I was not helped. So I'm trying to remember, like, I have all this written down in a timeline, right? Like, both in handwritten, and I typed it out as well, right? I'm trying to remember, because that's all on the computer. I didn't bring that with me, right? Like, I went out of my way, above and beyond, 4 separate instances, right? And each time I tried to reach out to you people for help, and then I reached out to other people to try and help me get help with you, because you wouldn't help, right? So just the city of Lewiston doesn't believe in universal human rights. They don't believe in federal rights. They don't even believe in state rights, because as you can see, I have a list of 30 separate state codes, not just federal codes, not just federal codes that go along with these state codes, but actual state codes, right? And in every single recorded conversation, I have an officer or a sergeant or attorney, right, stating pretty much verbatim that we don't have to follow federal law. This is Idaho. We only have to follow Idaho law. And I think that's hilarious, because, again, 30 separate Idaho state codes you guys don't want to follow, right? Like, that doesn't make sense. But this is about identity theft. I'm going to go through all 30 of these. I just had to give you a brief breakdown, a brief timeline. And now, here we go into the document. Okay, so for this document, I will go through and list the crimes committed in Idaho where the crimes happened while we were on vacation visiting. Then I will list the crimes for Colorado directly under them, because our laws are so similar. That's the reason we chose Idaho over Washington. Then last, I will put the federal crimes list if possible, mainly because some states have far more severe punishment than federal levels of the same crime. This is why we're going to learn them all. Okay, so let's start with federal law, okay, because this is what protects us no matter what. So the Supremacy Clause, found in Article 6 of the U.S. Constitution, establishes that the U.S. Constitution, federal laws, and treaties are the supreme law of the land and take precedence over conflicting state constitutions and laws. This means that if a state law contradicts a federal law or treaty, the federal law or treaty is considered binding and enforceable, and state judges are required to follow it. So if a state judge has to follow it, that means state officials, lawyers, right, police, you all swore to the same oath. You all have to follow the same set of rules, the same laws. That's what the Supremacy Clause is. It's binding. It states that no matter where you are in the United States, you are held to the same set of rules. Okay, and I'll explain that in just a second, a little bit further. Okay, so the clause is a foundational principle for a national union, ensuring consistent application of federal authority across all states. This is extremely important because Idaho state officials of all levels have sworn an oath to the U.S. Constitution and its laws first and foremost. I'll pull that up for you in a later video. Then to their individual state constitutions. Failure to honor federal law, saying instead, we don't have to follow federal law, only state law, is a violation is a violation of basic human rights and federally protected constitutional rights. Each officer listed here shows the same disregard for our concern, with several officials stating verbatim that we were a waste of time, we were a waste of resources, and that every time there was a police officer, the sergeant that came out, and one of those instances, he stated this pretty much verbatim. The city attorney, who's the records keeper, right, like the one who controls all FOIA requests and other things, she basically stated this verbatim. And then there was someone else too, I forget, but again, it's a reoccurring habit, right? So that's why I'm letting you all know it, because if it's happening to me, it's happening to you. But here we go. So let me skip through all the names. Skip through that. Wow, there's a lot of names. Ooh, there's like 10 names in here. Okay, skip through that. Skip through that. I'm just gonna skip that paragraph. Okay, there's a lot of names in there. But next paragraph: we are protected by universal human rights guaranteed to us since 1948, and also by United States Constitution, then our home state of Colorado, then whatever state we holiday in. You cannot violate the natural order of things. So it's gonna be at the very top, universal human rights, and then below that, federal law, because universal human rights protect you wherever you are in the world. Federal law is specifically here in the United States. Other state areas have their own constitutions, so they have similar protections, but this is specifically, we live in the US, so we follow United States law, okay? And then below that, below federal law is the state, right? So because we live in Colorado, we follow Colorado law, and because we're vacationing in Idaho, Idaho law also protects us. Okay, so very, very important. So all these compound. If you can imagine, it's like a big reverse triangle. Like they start at the top really big, and it just compounds down, 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 down. Right? You get more rights the further down you go. But you cannot disregard the stuff at the top. You have to follow the top first, and then the next step, and then the next step, and then right. So, and then below state law is anything local. Okay, so like a local municipality, a local sheriff's, local police department, right? Like, does that make sense? Okay, so. So let me first start out by saying that, and I'm reading from the document again, okay? The same document that they had available to them way back when. Let me first start out by saying that before this whole interaction with your company was involved, we used the website. On said website, our many pictures can show that we didn't have to enter any personally identifiable information at all placing our order. It even says on your website and in our pictures that we just have to visually verify the ID. It literally says display on your site. This is one of the very blatant things I argued with the company's attorney when he acknowledged, which he acknowledged on our recorded phone call, that we were in fact right, they were wrong, and yet they were going to keep our info, right? Read further for full explanation. This does not mean that you can physically take possession of the ID and the contents written on it, nor does it allow you to then copy any of the information listed on the ID. That is PPI, personally protected information, and nor does it allow you to then copy any of the information listed on the ID. That is I just reread the same line. I'm sorry. So the government owns the ID, and we signed over some of our rights for ownership of that card and the contents on it. At no time did we give you permission to copy the ID in any way, shape, or form, and we protested many times during the incident on April 1st, then again on April 3rd, then again on May 27th, then finally on June 10th. So again, that's why I gave you the timeline, because you all are going to think that I'm just harassing these people. Like, no, I reached out to the proper authorities, and the proper authorities said, go back, right? So then I went back, had some stuff happen, I reached out to the proper authorities said, go back, okay? So I'm just following the chain, right? I'm doing what I'm told to do because the local law enforcement, they don't want to do their job. They don't want to enforce the actual laws, the state laws that that they swear up and down that they uphold. Okay, so I apologize for the length of the video. It's probably going to be around 20 minutes. I'll break it up for TikTok, but thank you for my YouTube people for watching. So I go and explain, your company itself then further violated our rights by delaying things since June 5th and even going so far as to completely cancel out our claim number after denying me any access whatsoever. And when I say me, it's me, my wife, and my daughter, because we were all there at the same time and all of our rights were violated. So I'll explain universal human rights. Children have the same set of rights that we do. So when you violate our rights because you want to withhold information and you want to keep us longer than is necessary, you're also violating her rights. So this is why I filed the lawsuit with the large amount that I did, because it's 4 separate lawsuits with 30 crimes between 4 separate days, and none of it counts as double jeopardy. And right, like there's a lot of and right. So lost a lot of sleep over this. I'm so tired. But blah 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 blah. Gotta leave that part out. So, right. So, and after denying me access whatsoever, so common courtesy email with details, common courtesy reference number or claim number, common courtesy professional ethical behaviors like introducing yourselves and who you work for, etc. Like, right? They didn't do any of this, right? So for the first 3 months, a claim was made. I filed something. They opened a claim because of that. They ignored me through multiple calls and emails, right? I was being polite. I was being professional, right? And I reached out to try and take care of the matter in a quick manner. You guys deny me that right. Okay, so that's why I'm mad, see? But anyway, so I'm going to stop complaining. Supremacy Clause states very basically that you have to follow federal law. There's nothing that comes above federal law, okay? I'll give you guys more of a detailed explanation later over this entire thing, but just I gave you timeline, I gave you Article 6, and now Article 4 protects us while we're traveling. So now blah 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 blah. My family and I are visiting from out of state. We belong in Colorado. That's where our family is, that's where our home is, and that's where we're trying to get back to. Fortunately for us, Article 4 Section 2 Clause 1, which is the Privileges and Immunities Clause, the 9th and the 14th Amendment all guarantee our right to travel. Very specifically, Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 ensures that citizens of each state are entitled to all the privileges and immunities of citizens of the states we're visiting. This protection extends to being treated as a welcome visitor and not as an unfriendly alien when temporarily in another state. The 14th Amendment guarantees us our right to travel as a fundamental right protected by the Equal Protection Clause and the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment. The 9th Amendment has been guaranteed to us by the Supreme Court decision to be an unenumerated right and as such cannot be denied. So this means you cannot forget about this law in the making of other laws. So this is why we can travel in our privately owned accommodations while drivers operate motor vehicles for a fee of some sort, which is commercial operations, right? So Article 4, Section 2, Clause 1 is important because we have repeatedly heard, this is Idaho, we don't have to follow federal code, only Idaho state code here. This is right? So that's what protects us when we travel. You have to follow federal law, and we are protected by Colorado law and Idaho law. So that's why I'm going to give you multiple instances now. So I'm going to skip all this. I'm going to go straight to identity theft for this video because that's what I promised you for this video. So so identity theft, Idaho Code 18-3126, 5 years prison, $50,000 fine, is defined as the unauthorized use of someone else's personal information. Since the value exceeds more than $300, it is a felony. The Identity Theft and Assumption Deterrence Act of 1998 made it a federal crime to steal another person's identity. In court, they focus on the fact that ownership of PPI is taken from one person and kept against their will. It's the crime of withholding our ID and its information from us, right? So, again, when I go and I bring this up I read from April 1st until like June, right? 4 separate instances. I asked you to delete this information. It doesn't belong to you. You have no right to it. You chose to ignore that. You're very blatantly in disregard of Idaho Code 18-3126. Now let's go to Colorado. Okay, so in Colorado, CRS subsection 18-5-902, which defines the offense and classifies it as a felony. This statute makes it a crime to knowingly possess someone else's personal or financial information without authorization and with the intent to use it for fraudulent purposes. And their policy very clearly states that they're going to sell and share that information with 16 separate agencies, right? 4 of which are public officials, government officials, law enforcement, and others, right? So, again, privacy invasion, huge privacy invasion. Multiple federal codes, multiple state codes, multiple amendments, right? Like, okay. Let's see. Other related offenses in Colorado include criminal possession of an identification document. So that's CRS subsection 18-5-903.5 and gathering identity information by deception. CRS subsection 18-5-904. CRS 18-5-903.5 makes it a crime to knowingly possess or control another person's actual driver's license, which is what you did, Government issued ID card, social security card, or passport without authorization. When we protest multiple times that you can't have it, yep, you're in violation of this. Even if it was not obtained fraudulently. So even if we mistakenly gave it to you, right? Because your website said you have to display it, right? So we gave it to you with the intent that you were just going to look at it and give it right back, right? We're covered. We're protected by this. That's a felony. That means you pay all of our attorney fees. So possessing one document is a passport, is a class 2 misdemeanor, up to 120 days in jail, up to $750 fine. 2 or more documents belonging to different people is a class 6 felony, up to 18 months prison, up to $100,000 fine. So again, when you have my wife's stuff and my stuff, and I'm complaining and I'm asking you to give it back and to delete it, and you won't, you're in violation of this. CRS 185904 defines the crime of gathering identity information by deception in Colorado. But again, we're traveling, so we're protected by this, which involves making a false statement without authority to obtain or access another person's identifying information, such as a financial or personal details. This offense is part of the Colorado Criminal Code related to theft and deceptive practices, often discussed alongside other related crimes like identity theft and forgery. A conviction for gathering identity information by deception under this code is a class 5 felony. The offense is punishable by 1 to 2 years of imprisonment, followed by 1 year of parole and potentially additional court fines imposed. In Idaho, due to the factors involved with the case, I can ask for punitive damages. So that's $250,000 that I get to ask for just for pain and suffering, for emotional distress, to make you guys pay, is what the legal definition of that is, right? I'm running out of space. I'm going to upload this now. But again, identity theft was explained to you. It's a felony. Felonies get paid, but attorney fees get paid in full by the opposing side. So I tried to make this quick and clean. I try to make it to where you just pay something real quick and you delete all our information, and you chose not to do that. Now you want to speak to my attorney, so that's an additional $500 an hour that you're going to have to pay on top of all the stuff that you owe us. So just for that right there, that's $250,000 per person, punitive damages. That's $500,000, and then we also get to charge you for the privacy violation, so the $70,000 fee schedule for both of us. So that's another $140,000, right? Like, that's why I charged you so much. That's why I asked for so much. But again, more on that in a further video. If you guys have not done so, like the video, subscribe for more. This is just one code. I've got like 30 more, and I got to go write more after this. So I'll talk to you soon. Thank you for watching.